The blitz is on. No, not the football playoffs, the Obamacare ad blitz.
Trust me, one day something's going to happen, and you're going to need a quality health plan. So make sure you get Obamacare.
Okay, that's part of a new $52 million Obamacare ad campaign. Just a small part of the law's entire PR push, costing nearly $700 million per year. And guess who's paying for it? You, me. That's why some lawmakers are pushing for a law requiring federal agencies to include a paid-for-by-taxpayers disclaimer on the ads. Gary B., is that a good idea?
Well, I think it is a good idea that we have a disclaimer to know who's actually paying for the ads, but it doesn't solve the root problem, is that the ads, period. I mean, do people really need Magic Johnson to tell us to get health care? And then he alludes to the fact that quality health care is Obamacare somehow, which is the biggest irony of all. Do people really listen to these ads? Do we need it? Do we spend, last year, Brendan, we spent about $1 billion on advertising. The federal government did, which is, I know, it's a drop in the bucket. And people like Sasha will say, oh, we need it. We don't need it. It's silly. It's like those road signs. This is the new TARP project or whatever, that American reinvention stuff that we just spent $1 zillion on. That's silly. Does people actually, oh, okay, good. Now I know that. Now everything's good. I love the federal government.
All right, well, Sasha, ads are the American way. Why not the government, too?
Well, sure. I mean, think back to Uncle Sam wants you to join the U.S. Army back to World War II. Actually, Gary B., it was about $1 billion just for the military last year. For Be All You Can Be, it was another $1 billion for the rest of the government. But so, no, I'm not in full support of that. But look, at the end of the day, Obamacare is here to stay. It's not going anywhere, okay? It's not going to go. And so the more effort that's made to make it a disaster, added to how the administration did on its own, the more it's going to cost and the harder it's going to be to implement. It's not leaving. So, yes, publicity is good. Absolutely. And having the states actually work with the federal government to make it work will also get this thing moving.
I don't know, Tracy, aren't you kind of be embarrassed if it says paid for by taxpayers on the Pajama Boy ad? I mean, I'm kind of embarrassed by that.
Yeah, big time. And look, if they're trying to appeal to the younger population, there's a lot of them who don't even know who Magic Johnson is, with all due respect to Magic Johnson. He's an old bugger now. So if you're going to advertise, advertise properly. But they can't even do that right these days. They don't know what they're doing. They can't make a website. They can't make ads. Spend my money. If you're going to spend it properly.
All right, we know who John is. He's the real champion here. John, what do you think about this?
Yeah, and I love Magic Johnson, by the way. So I'm not in that demo, Tracy. I grew up on him and Bird. Look,
yeah,
I have a website that I donate all my profits to at-risk kids. So if you want to advertise on it, government, you can come straight to me. Other than that, look, instead of trying to spend money to motivate and employ, just hire motivated employees. Instead of trying to spend money to try to make something popular, don't pass something that is so unpopular. Imagine if George Bush had spent taxpayer money highlighting one of his controversial plans that the Democrats didn't like. I feel the same way right now about this. I felt the same way if George Bush had done the same thing. We need to know where this money's coming from. I agree with Gary B. Don't spend taxpayer money on this.
Okay, and just a little detail, Magic Johnson did donate his time to these ads, so that's important to know. Okay, Jonas, what do you think?
Look, it'd be great if the government didn't have products and services that had to be marketed to the public, but that's the reality of this healthcare plan, and it needs people in it to get cheaper. So if the government can sell it to more people with advertising, our premiums are going to go lower because there's more young people in there footing the bill. So that's the job. Is it going to be very effective? Probably not. And look, as far as the disclosure, yeah, we could have the disclosure on the ads, but what about the Army car on NASCAR and the National Guard car on NASCAR? Do we want to have those to have disclosures too? The government does a lot of advertising that's questionable, but at the end of the day, they've got products and services. They need soldiers, so they got to advertise. They need people in Affordable Care Act to get our premiums down, so you run ads. That's the way it is.
Okay, last word. Thanks, guys.